Why did you mess up?
I mean,
That 8-hour jump it's tough math.
I wouldn't say it was a
Well,
mess up. It was an over prep.
we had daylight saving hour changed for us
Right. Saturday,
on
right? Or yesterday.
Saturday. Yeah, Sunday morning, effectively.
Right.
And I think, are you guys a week later? You don't do that till
We're
next
this
week.
week. Mhm.
So did that mess things up as an excuse, maybe?
Yes.
Sure. I'll take that.
And Halloween over there is crazy, right?
Oh, big time. Yeah. And it's not in the UK
It's getting there.
because
It's
of what's happened in the US?
no, it's because of you bloody Americans.
Right.
That's why it is happening. It's gone crazy.
Wow.
Obviously last year was not much going on, but this year it feels like it's gone crazy.
Hmm.
With the
Do
advent
you
of like social media, is that
Just more people are dressing up, people are
Mm,
decorating the houses.
mm,
It's in all the shops. Like
mm,
I mean, again, going back when I was a kid, I feel like there would have been a little tiny bit of that, but now it's on such a bigger scale. Um, but I know obviously like there'll be Halloween parties, and I know you guys like dress up like crazy.
yeah.
Um, we're not there yet. It's getting there though. I've seen glimpses already this weekend. It's definitely going that way. I think next couple of years, it'll be as big over here as it is over there, really.
no, in the US, there is a full-on Halloween industrial complex, and there's I don't want to know how much money per year is spent on
It's
Halloween.
actually
It's a huge industry.
I actually know. I actually looked it up yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
tell.
Americans spend 6 billion a year on Halloween
Breaking news.
on a completely made up
Right.
event that kind of means nothing. It's crazy. But yeah,
I think
six
the
billion.
witch and Wiccan community might get on you for that one.
Right.
That's true.
Does your family celebrate at all? Did the kids get dressed up or anything?
Yeah, so I've got three young kids, the 7, 5, and 3, and it's crazy for every single day. I'm getting a bit of feedback. I don't know, a bit of echo. I can hear myself.
Oh.
I don't know if that's something you can resolve or.
Brad, do you have headphones?
I
I
don't,
wonder.
but I will put
Oh,
mine
okay.
in.
Okay.
Rick, has that been the whole time?
No, just at the end, just at the last kind of couple of
Okay.
minutes,
I
last
only
minute or
just
so.
started hearing it, yeah. It's okay. I can
Um, Now, for most of the time of the year, you're telling your kids don't talk to strangers and don't take sweets off strangers, and then the next thing you're knocking at strangers' houses asking for sweets. I just felt like, but yeah, this year again, the problem is at the moment they're going. I can't wait for Halloween. I can't wait to go and collect some candy. Now we don't call it candy here, but obviously they've been watching YouTube or YouTube Kids or whatever, and suddenly they're calling it candy. I'm like, no, you can't. Don't call it candy. It's sweets. But it's not their fault. They just get influenced by whatever they watch, don't they? So
yeah. And it does seem like I mean, Halloween is probably a macro level, example of this, but culture has a tendency to come together, to homogenize, I think, as, like, globalization generally increases, and
yeah,
so language is a huge part of that. That tying that
yeah,
into golf,
definitely.
um, how are you seeing golf change in the UK recently, as a result of all of the popularization in the US and sort of change of culture over here?
I mean, golf in the last 2 years has seen its biggest growth since 1997 when Tiger hit the scenes. It's so there used to be 63 million golfers in the world,
Mhm.
and that's actually gone up to 65 million golfers now, which is a huge jump in like a 18-month time frame. And the only thing that you could connect it with is the global pandemic. I mean, who would have thought that something so horrendous that happened to all of us ended up being such a positive for golf. So many people got into it because it was a sport, as you guys know, it's a sport that certainly over here in the UK, we got stopped from doing a lot of things. Our lockdown was really strict. But as soon as we started to come out of lockdown, golf was one of the first sports that you could participate in.
Mhm.
You couldn't do team sports, you couldn't go to the gym, you couldn't do other activities. So I do see that a huge amount of other sports people or other people who had different hobbies either turned back into golf because they used to
Mhm.
play at a younger age, or thought, you know what, I fancy trying golf for the first time. So there's been a huge spike in golf participation levels,
Mhm.
which obviously I'm really, really happy to see.
And so, the boom is happening, I would say globally, with golf, and um, what I'm hearing from you is echoed here in the attitudes of golf in the States. Like, all types of folks are getting into golf now, or folks who used to play when they were kids with their dads or their uncles or whoever, and they're coming back to the sport.
Yeah.
And here, a lot of the messaging is around diversity, inclusion, getting different voices in the game to weigh in on how the game is governed, and who is accepted, and different looks and different types and things like that. Are you seeing that happening in the UK as well?
Yeah. Yeah, so much. We're really starting to see that the trend going in the right direction, as it should be. I can go to a local golf course now, and you do see such a variety of different ethnicities and backgrounds and cultures, all now calling golf their home and their sport, and it's amazing to see. Um, even just a couple of weeks ago, I was at the golf course that I kind of play at, and the Muslim Golf Society had a massive golf day on,
Hmm.
and they invited me to come down and kind of meet, a load of new golfers, a load of new Muslims that's got into golf. And I honestly think 15, 20 years ago, there probably wouldn't have been many golf courses that maybe accepted a
Mm,
golf society like that. Incorrectly, obviously, but now they're telling me that they've got several events around the country this year, and they're doing this and they're doing that. And I was saying to them, has there been any kind of backlash? Has there been any negativity? And they were saying, no, like
Wow.
we're not seeing anything. Which obviously is correct. And golf is changing. I mean, I've been to quite a number of golf events this year. So I've been to a few ladies like tour events and like the Open and things like that. And again, the audience that are going to these events are very, very different
Oh,
to
that's
20
interesting.
years ago.
Hmm.
You know, it's not middle-aged white people anymore. It is a real mixture of young, old, different races, different backgrounds,
Hmm.
um, all again that link being connected to golf. Like it
mhm.
doesn't matter. You're all there to enjoy golf, and that's what's really exciting now. And I see a lot of fans coming over to me and and again, I can't categorize them because it's such a variety
Mm.
of different people, and it's great. It's wonderful, and you hear all the different stories. How did you get into golf? Well, I got into golf 10 years ago, and I stopped playing, and now I'm back into it. Or I've just started golf up again because I now think golf is cool and it's a more
Hmm.
accepting sport. It's not there yet. We know it's not 100% there at all, but it's definitely going in that right direction from what I'm seeing. Even the things like the fashion, the styling out on the golf course, it's so different to when I first started playing golf. It has become more acceptable to be unique and be a bit more out there with your clothing choice. I mean, Bradford, you do a great job of that. You certainly don't abide by what would be seen as tradition clothing
Mhm.
anymore,
Mhm.
and
Right.
it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It should be whatever you want to wear. I've got a real issue with um, kind of dress codes and stuff. I do think they should be more relaxed, and then let the golfers decide what they want to wear. I probably would still wear quite similar golf clothing to a certain degree, um, but it should never put anybody off playing the game just because they've not got the right trousers on, or the right shorts, or the right socks, or the right headwear, or whatever it may be. So,
Right.
and again, I am seeing a shift in golf courses understanding that, because
Mhm.
a number of years ago they could be quite precious and could be quite selective. Well, now they can't. They have to be open door more, because people aren't joining golf courses as much as they were back in the day.
Mhm.
Exactly. It just hurts their business to not be accepting of everyone, right?
Exactly.
And we've talked a lot about on this show about the difference between honoring and respecting where tradition comes from, and I guess standards that have been upheld for a long time about golf being a proper game, with balancing the fact that you should be able to wear whatever you want to wear, um, at least in most circumstances. We've had people come on and say like, I wouldn't be upset if you know uh, Marion, for instance, kept its dress code because that's what you expect going into a place like that.
Yeah.
But for your everyday sort of bad about municipal golf course, there should never be a dress code there, because you're like massively limiting who you're letting in through those doors.
Yeah, exactly. There are always going to be places, rightly or wrongly, that really, really do want to uphold
Mhm,
their level of apparel, clothing, dress code, whatever you want
Mhm.
to call it.
mhm,
That's, it's down to them whether you like it or not. But like, you're dead right, there should be more places at that entry level that should be so
mhm.
much more open
Right.
doored. Um, which I honestly do. I think we see that quite well in the UK. I do. I think
Yeah.
there's a good enough mixture. Again, it's not perfect, but I can only kind of tell you from what I see. How a lot of times now, certainly now I'm getting my kids into golf, and there'll be certain places I'm not worried about what they're wearing.
Mm,
I dress them smart and practical, obviously.
mhm.
Um, but most of the time, it's I've never had someone say, "Oh, they can't wear that, they can't do this," because you kind of know your audience.
Yeah.
Would I
Mhm.
particularly go and pitch up at um, one of the royal golf courses that are, super, super prestigious? Possibly not, but that's okay. That's where I know my kind of level, really. If I'm taking the kids, for example.
You're
Right.
not pulling up to Royal St. George's in a dog t-shirt like I would.
No, but did you? I don't know if you saw any clips. Did you see the greenkeeper from Royal St George's?
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
No.
he was
So cool.
very cool. Chris,
Brad, you'd have loved him. I can't remember his name now, but you'd have loved him.
I'm forgetting his name as well. Chris Collick spent a good amount of time with him, right after the Open, and played around with him, and yeah, he was just a total character.
He, he looked like a rock star.
Exactly.
I
We
gotta
need we
check
need
this
more
guy
of
He
out.
that.
really did. He
We need
really
more of
did.
that in the game of golf. These like eccentric sort of savant geniuses building the golf course and everything.
Yeah.
Um, you so we're, talking about how golf was affected by the pandemic, like, in a positive way, but you're someone who is a full-time golf content creator, and I can only, surmise from my limited scope of the things that I do, but as a full-time creator, when the pandemic hit, that had to have been a scary time. Like, will I be able to golf? Will I be able to go create content? Will I be able to keep my foot on the gas of this Rick Shiels global
Monster.
yeah, content monster,
Steam
What
engine.
what were the thoughts going into 2020 around, February, March when you got the news?
There's been a couple of times in my life that I have not known how I was going to react until something like this happened. And the old saying, kind of fight or flight. Um, I quite a number of years ago, the driving range I was quite popular as a golf coach at back in like 2000 and maybe 11. Um, Kind of out of nowhere closed down. Basically, the owners had a falling out and it was going to close down. We got told, "Don't come back in tomorrow. The place is shut." Okay. And at this time, I had no kids. I had a wedding in the pipeline. And I was like, oh crap, this is serious. And I always remember my reaction to that. So there was 4 golf coaches at the time there, and we all reacted very differently.
Hmm.
And I remember for myself, I very much almost kind of the dog in me came out in this kind of like, okay, I'm not accepting I don't work. I'm not just going to roll over and let
Hmm.
this kind of affect me. So that very next day, I got up early. I printed off a load of CVs, job descriptions, etc. And literally for 2 or 3 days, drove round to every golf course, every driving range in the vicinity in where I live. And after about 3 days, I'd been offered 5 different jobs. And I always remember thinking, that's it really, because I thought all 4 of us would be doing the same. As 4 self-employed golf coach, I thought all 4 of us would be doing the same. By the end of the week, I found out that that wasn't the case. I was actually the only person that was doing that. I was the only person that was hungry or driven enough or desperate, let's say, enough to do this. And it really put me in a great position because I had all these jobs lined up, so I could take my pick. Long story short, the driving range that closed down a week later ended up opening back up again, and I moved back in and everything else. But that week of unexpected circumstances really showed me a lot about my character.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I tell that story, because it's quite interesting. In probably like January time, late January last year, one of my editors kind of said to me, "Rick, we really need to take in kind of this coronavirus quite seriously. Like, we really need to be thinking about this." And I'm like, "Do we?" Like,
Mhm.
nah, whatever. It's not going to be a big deal. He said, "No, honestly, I'd really appreciate it if we could bank loads of content.
Mm.
Let's just go nuts, because worst case happens, we've got a load of content in the can."
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So through February, we really put the foot down and probably filmed 3 to 4 times more than we would do normally. Okay, we really just put our foot down and went, right, let's film. So this was February last year, and obviously then it kind of, as we saw it, the virus progress and everything else, and certainly here in the UK, lockdown I think hit maybe the start of March. So I was like, oh crap, this is serious. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he was right. My editor was right to bank.
Mm-hmm.
So we were quite fortunate because I had 2 editors at that. I had 4 members of staff at that time, and obviously I've got to keep everyone busy. I've got to keep everyone in a job. I've got to keep, as you said, the kind of the monster rolling. So it was nice that we had all this content in the bank because we could start trickle feeding that out. But honestly, I'm sure it was the 8th of March when lockdown. I put it in my diary. Let me check. I'm sure it was the 8th of March last year when literally for us in the UK, the world shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just check the date. I can't.
It would make sense if it was the 8th because we were 1 week later, the 15th.
Right.
Sure, I put it in my diary.
Beware the
somewhere.
Ides of March.
That's weird. I can't find out where it was. But anyway, I soon then that whatever night it was, can't find the bloody when I put it in my diary now. Whatever night it was, I remember really sitting down and going, God, this reminds me of that time when I lost my job.
Right.
Mm.
This really reminds me of the time where I've got to react to this. I can't be passive. I can't. This is not a time to put my feet up and relax. This is the time to get my head down and work. I have to work through this, and my natural way of working through it is more effort and more time and putting all of my energy behind something like that. So my instant gut reaction is I need to build something. I need to build a space at home where I can film, so I can still make videos. Quite fortunate that I had a garage space that had the potential of turning into a golf simulator. So that night I emailed 4 or 5 different companies because again it was companies. Some companies were still kind of working about how I can set up a simulator in my house. And I think either that night or the very next morning, I got a phone call from a company saying, "Yeah, we can help you." So I was like, "Great!" So literally the next 3 or 4 days, from super early in the morning till late at night. I'd work my socks off to clear out my garage, to make space, to put in. I built single-handedly a simulator that 3 people normally build, and I'm not a strong person, but I had to do it. It
Right.
wasn't about can I have to build it. Like
Yeah.
that's what it is. So I built the simulator in my garage. I was very, very resourceful. I thought fast on my feet. And in about 5 or 6 days, I built the simulator. So what was really nice, I had all this content in the can that I'd already filmed. I've now got a space at home that I can film, and I'm quite
Mhm.
good. I know how to use all my cameras. I know how to like. I don't do a lot of that work myself anymore, but I do know how to operate everything.
Mhm.
And luckily for me, in situations like this, it was useful because I needed to do it all myself, set up all my cameras. So then it was quite nice because it meant we could feed in content that we already had in the bank with new content, but
Mm.
without making it look stale. So that
Right.
got us almost all the way till kind of like June time, to be honest,
Wow.
where things started to open up again. And you know, what was really interesting for me, 44% of my audience is from America. So even though us in the UK were not playing golf, I don't
Mhm.
think golf courses really shut in a lot of America, did it?
Not
Right.
really for a really short time, but not much at all.
So I very much again had that mindset that yes, okay, we're not playing right now, but a lot of my audience is still playing golf. We have to
Right.
still be making content. As much as it seems stupid right now for me to be doing a coaching video when in my life, in my bubble, the world is a closed place, I have to think differently and go, well, no, there's still golfers in America, Canada, Australia, some of my biggest countries that watch my channel. I have to be making content that for them. So, long story short, I kind of that going back to that fight or flight. I put my gloves on and you know fought like a bear because it's important for me and I enjoy it. I enjoy that kind of
Mm.
situation where it's like
Mm.
task, I have to complete it. Um, and like I say, it was quite interesting. A few days, I was watching a lot of other content creators after that and going,
Mhm.
nobody's done this. Nobody's thought like this. Nobody's gone that extra mile or done something that they've needed to do. And again, it probably just I thought everyone else was doing it. In my
Mm.
head, it was a logical thing to do. I just presumed everyone was going to be doing it.
Right.
But I turn around and go, literally nobody's doing it. Why? Why has no one done this? But it was
Yeah.
like I say, it was a scary time. But lucky for me, I kind of I managed to set up a space and still managed to film.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you didn't, or at least the way that you relay that story, it sounds like the fear just turned into calories, turned into energy to build and move forward. Not to mention, I
Yeah,
mean, like, stakes way higher
Right.
than when you lost the driving range gig. That wedding happened. You have 3 kids, you have 4 people under your employment. Um, what was the chatter like with those folks about we're pressing on? Because you're not a lone wolf anymore, right? Like, you do
no.
have people depending on you, but also, I imagine having people collaborate very actively with you. So what is the, like, interchange there between all parties?
For team who work for me,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So I'm up to 6 members of staff now and looking to recruit 2 more by the end of the year as well. Um, I think again because we're so passionate about it.
Mm,
And I'd like to think I've set up a very nice working environment where it's relaxed, it's energetic, it's a nice place to come and work. I've got nice studios. If the lads ever want like a new faster MacBook, we invest and we get better equipment.
mm,
Um, I feel like they're very much part of the driving force. And because of that, again, would I have had the insight to have made as much content back in January? Probably not. It was
mhm.
one of my editors that said, "We really need to think about this," because they're thinking about their future. They don't wanna get
Right.
you know, I'd like to think they enjoy the job, and they don't wanna lose the job, and they don't wanna sit they don't want me to make I mean, we didn't know at the time things like furlough and stuff like that was gonna come in. We just
Mhm.
presumed if you can't work, you unfortunately you don't make any money. Like that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we thought back in then. So I think everyone was protecting not only their own position in the business, but also protecting the brand. Like if the brand dies, everyone loses the job. So that's quite nice that everyone kind of stayed fairly upbeat. It was obviously challenging, but we
Mhm.
communicated on Zoom. We contacted each other on the phone all the time. We were always trying to think about how we can continue to make content and what type of content works, etc. So as a collaborative effort, it really worked. And then, like I said, I've got a lot of really good friends in the industry.
Mhm.
So bouncing ideas off them, like talking to my friends over in America and go like saying to them, "Are people still playing golf?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "A lot." And they're going, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, well,
More than ever, actually.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we keep making content. We keep
Yeah.
coming out there, So, and it was working with brands about maybe picking up piece of equipment that we thought might be quite interesting to review, or buying stuff off Amazon or eBay, or just using all the resources that we could to
Mhm.
carry on making content. When I look back at it now, it wasn't our finest work, but
Mm.
we had to make something, and that was the best we could do at the time.
Yeah, and I mean, not to mention, you're right, like 40%, 44% of your audience, you said, in the US, but you still know that there's, I don't know, some guy in, like, Barnsley who's, like, right, in his living room, like, "All right, right, like, okay, left hand has to come here," like, still working on things that should be done outside, but was just, a junkie, right? So you
Well,
have to keep going for them.
first off, of all the places in the UK, how did you come up with Barnsley?
I don't know, it just came to my head, but, yeah, but, I mean, those people exist, right? And so you're there to as a light, as somebody who can add a shed of normalcy to somebody's day,
Yeah,
regardless
uh,
of what's happening for them at work.
correct. And I must admit, you obviously this podcast is called Group Golf Therapy. The amount of messages,
Mm,
emails that from people I got that were saying things like that. That honestly, there's not much to look forward to. I can't wait when you upload. Like I'll literally watch it 2 or 3 times because it feels like normality.
mm,
Or I'm even going back watching all of your old catalogue just to remember what was it like to play golf. Like I'm going back to videos from like 3 years ago where you got playing golf and you interacting with people and you're shaking people's hands, and it's like that world feels like it's forgotten about. But what's quite nice is I'm turning to your page, to your channel, and reminding myself or getting that fix. So that was really nice.
mm,
Something again I probably hadn't expected to see. But it was nice in the fact that, a lot of people were struggling with mental health. A lot of people were going through bad times and losing jobs and, getting COVID and having a really difficult time. And I just, in my head, I'm just making golf content that I
mhm,
hope people enjoy, probably underestimating how much value it added to people, how important it was for some people, And it's only in hindsight do I look back at that and go, yeah, I didn't think I was doing that. It's not why I was doing it, but it's to a lot of people, it's their entertainment. It's what they enjoy doing. It's their not only their hobby, it's their social interaction. It's everything to them, and to the point where February this year, when we were actually still in a weird another lockdown, I think the second or third lockdown that we had, I wanted to do something. I don't. I've used my channel several times for awareness or raising money or being able to do something good and give back. But in February, for my own sanity and also for other people's sanity, I wanted to do something that got people talking. So I did I mean, it doesn't sound like stupidly ambitious, and it wasn't. But for every day in the month of February, I had my golf clubs on my back, and I walked 6 miles, so around the golf,
mhm, mhm,
just around my local streets as part of my daily exercise, with my golf clubs on my back. So people would chat to me. And when I was out there, dog walkers would be like, "Why have you got your clubs?" And suddenly I was talking to people who, my neighbours who maybe I don't normally speak to. I don't
Right.
mean my immediate neighbours, but people in my neighbourhood.
Mhm.
I'm now speaking to them and I'm saying, oh, actually, I'm a golfer. I make videos on YouTube. I'm trying to raise awareness for mental health. And they're like, wow, that's amazing. I'm like, and I'm saying, have you had a nice day? And they're going, it's been better. Or, I might just chat to
Mhm.
a random old man or a random old lady for 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And you forget that might have been their only interaction all day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, so I was doing that from a personal level, but on a more widespread level, I was doing it to raise money for a charity called Mind, which is a mental health charity. And we actually ended up raising, as part of the community, the people who watch me on YouTube, we managed to raise £44,000.
Oof.
So that's what, like, probably knocking on the door of
$60,000.
$60,000.
Yeah.
Um, and that was really important because that money went to people who were struggling with mental health and struggling with problems of life. But also, it was the fact that I was getting my audience members to talk, and I was saying in the videos, like, pick up the phone today, ring up the guys you normally play golf with,
Mhm.
and just have a chat. Ask them how they're doing. Like, ask
Mm.
them if they had a good day, or talk about that your favorite round you've ever had, and I think it's right now more than ever. Certainly that in February this year and through lockdown, it was it was really important for to get people talking. So that was really nice. So it really kind of opened my eyes to the power that the kind of channel also has in the
Mhm.
community.
Mhm.
And kind of to be honest, out of all the things I've done, that's one of my proudest ever things I've managed to achieve as a community. And like I say, it wasn't ridiculously strenuous for me, but it was nice that it was something that my fans kind of really got behind, and hoping to do more things like that in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you
talk about fans. I mean, so um when we got a little overambitious about our call time today,
So
you
what
were
happened with this? What
you were in the middle of an Instagram live, where you were promoting a video that you were about to publish,
is that when
and
you thought we were going live?
maybe, maybe not. We'll leave that to. So you were promoting a video that you were about to publish on YouTube on your channel.
Yeah,
I just pulled up that video. It has 25,000 views in 40
the
minutes.
YouTube video.
The YouTube video that you just uploaded.
Yeah.
Hearing that back and then pair that with your revelation this year about, the messages that you've received from your audience and all the meaning that you have created for people, how does that make you feel?
Sometimes, you know what? Because it didn't just happen. Like, it didn't just go from 0 to 2 million followers. Well, it did, but over a massive long period of time.
Mhm,
This has been 8 years of making videos. So when I first started, I remember releasing videos that only getting 10 views,
mm.
and then I'd release another one, it'd get 50 views, and then it'd get 100 views. Or, I remember the first time my first video hit 1,000 views, and I thought, oh my god, 1,000 people have watched my video. And
gotta start wearing
and
hoodies in public.
exactly, exactly, yeah. I wasn't, I didn't sign up for this fame. Um, and then videos would get 10,000 or whatever it may be, and like 100,000, and so it's more than anything. It's because it's been very gradual. You know, I can't um I can't relate to some of these, let's say, TikTok stars, where their first video will get 100 million views. Like, I couldn't relate to that one because 100 million views is so huge anyway.
Mhm.
But also, they are literally going from 0 to whoosh, like,
Yeah.
as quick as I kind of worry for some of these kids, to be honest with you, because it's a huge leap in expectation level from fans, audience, etc. Where, because I did it a little bit older, I think when I started, I was probably 27 or 26. I was a little bit older, maybe a little bit wiser, and it happened so gradual that I never really had that moment where I've gone, oh crap, like 100,000 people have watched this video in 4 hours or whatever it may be. Like, it doesn't I don't understand it. Like sometimes I've been to some big football matches this year, or soccer that you guys call it, and I went to the Euro semi-final at Wembley, and I
Ooh.
think there was 82,000 people in the stadium. And you look round and you go, "Oh my god, that is a lot of people." Like I'm looking, and I'm looking round, and I'm looking up, and I'm looking down. I'm thinking, "This is 82,000 people. Like this is a lot of like this is big.
Yeah.
Like this
Right.
is huge."
Right.
What was mad? This was July this year. I then looked at my YouTube analytics, as I was probably there at the day, and in the last 28 days, my channel had grown by 85,000 subscribers. And I'm like,
A Wembley and then some.
in
Oh,
1 month,
Wembley.
in 1 month, every one of these, every single person here has effectively subscribed to my YouTube channel. And it's only then when you see it in person,
Mhm.
you're like, oh wow,
The gravity of
okay,
that sets in.
that's a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot of people. You know, like you said there, like like that video that I've just released today will probably get 100,000 views in maybe 5 hours. But it's like I can't. That's just a number on an app.
Mhm.
If actually 100,000 people were there in front of it, and 100,000, if I knew, if I always think this is a mad thought. Let's say I was at Wembley in the half time. They say, right, guys, we're going to put a video on. Everyone, can you look at the screen? We're going to put a Rick Shiels video on. I'd be like, I'd
Right.
like,
Right.
I'd be hiding out there because it's only when you see into people's eyes and you see people's reactions does it become real. Where on YouTube and behind a screen, it's not
Mhm.
real. Numbers don't
Mhm.
feel real.
Mhm.
So I did we've just on my podcast that I do, we've just hit 100 episodes, and we did a live show in a theatre just near us in Manchester, and we sold out 470 seats in about 2 days, and they said it's the fastest ever selling out show, and I was like, "Really?" And they were saying, "How many have you done?" I said, "This is my first show. Never done a show before." So they were quite shocked with that. And again, what's mad? That's not a lot of people. 470 people isn't
Sure.
a lot of people,
Sure.
but put them in one room
Mhm.
and they're all watching you live. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but I, I have 450 people watch every minute on my latest video,
Right.
but those numbers don't connect. They can't
Right.
connect.
Right. You don't see them, and apart from doing an Instagram live, you're performing to an audience of no one, right? Your
But
video will be you're detached from the video before it even
yeah,
gets released.
but even Instagram Live, like the what I think the one I did before, I think it topped out like 1,300 people watching live. I don't. That doesn't feel the same
Mhm.
as
Mhm.
20 people watching it in person.
Oh, there's a human
Like,
energy that is
Oh,
very
yeah.
tangible. Very, very
yeah,
tangible.
yeah. You know, all on screen. When it's a number on a screen, it's very, very different to a real life number.
Mhm.
So it's nice now. Again, the world's opening up a bit more, and I can do these live shows, and I can get out and see a few more people. That I'm starting to remember. Oh, they're actually really real people.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like when I went to the Open, I've been to the Open quite a number of times over the last few years, apart from obviously 2020 when it wasn't on. And each year I get stopped a little bit more. Each year I take a few more selfies. Each year it's harder to walk from the toilets to the burger van. Like, but that because again it's gradual. But if you dropped Rick from 8 years ago into that setting in
Mm.
2021, I would have freaked out. Like,
Mm. Yeah.
but because it's happened so slowly, it feels kind of somewhat normal. It's really nice.
I also recognize, sorry, really quickly, I also
Yeah, you're good.
recognize that I was wowed by the 25,000 views on your video in 40 minutes, and I recognize that to you that could not be that great. You're just like, "Oh, 20
It's
25,000,
actually
is that it? Is that
Is
is it
that
only
it?
25?"
yeah. Thanks for breaking the bad news to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might delete that video. It's
Yeah.
obviously not doing well.
Not worth it.
Well, Rick, you go to the Open, you go to these different events, and folks are stopping you, and um, from watching you over the years and talking to you now, like you give off this very genuine, warm, like kind of sweet, friendly energy. And I wonder like how you carry that into a situation where, hey Rick, can we get a selfie? Hey Rick, can we get a selfie? You know, like if it's coming at you, you know, you're there to enjoy the event. You're there to
Yeah.
watch these golfers and folks are coming up to you, you know, how do you navigate that situation? What are the conversations that you have with fans, young, old, in between, you know, like how do you go through all that?
Um, I enjoy it. I like it, you know, because most of the time, certainly the fans that are coming up and stopping me and want a picture or want a quick chat, they're normally pretty nice, and we've got something common. We can always chat about golf, you know. I think it'd be harder if I was kind of internet famous in a different category. Let's say I was internet famous for a singer.
Hmm.
Well, that's quite hard because a lot of people you may be coming up to you and chatting to you, you've actually probably not got a great deal in common. Maybe. Do you know
Sure.
where it doesn't matter if it's a young 7-year-old kid that comes and stops me for a selfie, or it's a 90, 80, 85-year-old previous lady captain from a golf club, a really posh golf club. I can always chat golf.
Mm.
So it's, you know, it's like if a little 7-year-old comes up and I'll go, hey, so who are you looking forward to going seeing today? Who have you managed to get any signed golf balls? Are you, you know, are you excited about seeing Ricky Fowler or Justin Rose or random names? But um, where let's say the 85-year-old woman can probably have somewhat similar conversation. Like
Right.
who are you excited to see? Which is your favorite hole on the golf course? Or,
Mm.
you know, have you played here before? Or, you know, what? So I always think there's a nice, there's always something to talk about.
Right.
So that makes things a lot easier. And genuinely, people are just nice. Like people are quite nice when they come up to us. Um, you know, I've definitely seen a difference between fans in England and fans in America.
Sure.
I feel like maybe
You
English
won't offend
fans
us, I promise.
who come and see me are quite conscious of my time and are quite conscious of who I'm with, and are typically, if let's say they come to want a picture with me, they'll kind of almost apologize to the people I'm stood with.
Hmm.
So they'll go, "Oh, hi Rick, can I get a picture?" And they'll go, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry if you were mid conversation. I just want a quick picture." I'd have a quick picture, and they'll kind of wander off, and they'll thank me, and they'll be nice. Times I've had it in America, um, Americans are quite uh, uh,
Aggressive.
excitable.
Get their elbows out. Yeah, yeah. You can
So it's
say
a bit more
drunk
like,
too.
yeah,
Right,
like,
right.
and to be honest, I've not been to America for the last couple of years, so I think it'll be quite different again next time. I'm actually going to Vegas in January, which I'm excited about.
Oof.
Oh,
But
nice.
America, like they'll shout from 100 yards away, like,
Oi!
hey, Ricky, hey, Ricky, come on over here, come and get a picture." Like, and they're how you doing, man? And give me a high five and a big hug and take a picture. Oh no, that picture was terrible. Let me take another one. And I'm quite
And
kind of
everyone
stereo.
else that you're with at that moment is a ghost to them, right? No
Yeah,
apologies, no.
Right.
yeah. So I'm probably stereotyping here a little bit, and I
Sure.
apologize if I am, but that's the kind of vibe I've got so far. So, but again, because that's not for me, it's very rare. It's not. I enjoy it as well. I think
Yeah.
if it was at that level all the time,
Mm.
that would be quite a challenge.
Hmm.
Um, and then the only other time I find it a little, if I'm in a golf setting, I absolutely expect it. Like
Right. You're
without
walking
sounding
into that
arrogant.
environment.
Yeah, without
Yeah.
sounding arrogant, I'm expecting it. I'm expecting golfers to come up and chat to me, and that's absolutely fine. And I'm very, very open and welcoming to it. I think there's been a couple of occasions, and very, very rare again, where let's say I'm out with my family, and again, if sometimes maybe a little bit rude or it's not the right time and place,
Mm.
but again, it's not. I don't blame them. You know, they're just excited because they watch my videos every day, and they can't
Yeah.
believe they see me in a restaurant with my family. Um, but a lot of people though, these are the only people that come and say hello to me when I'm out with my family. The amount of times I've been on a day trip at the weekend and I get back on my phone and I've had 10 or 15 Twitter messages going, "Oh, I saw you today at the park, but you were with your kids. I didn't want to disturb you. It was great seeing you." Or an Instagram DM going, "Oh, Rick, I wanted to come and say hello today, but I could see you were busy. Thanks for making all the great videos."
Mm.
So probably a lot more people out in public when I'm with my family maybe don't approach me, but I don't know
Mm,
about it. I don't realize, you know. So um, it's part of it, Brad. The one thing I don't like is when people say, "Oh, you signed up for this. You signed." I, I
Yeah.
didn't massively sign. I know it
yeah.
comes with the territory. It comes with the territory of making videos or be put yourself out there. But that also sometimes links to negative comments. People go, "Oh yeah, well you put yourself out there, you deserve negative comments, or you
Hmm.
expect." I'm like, not,
False.
not really. You know, I didn't put myself on stage to say throw tomatoes at me, please. Like that's
Right.
not.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That's not what I'm doing. So that's
And
the
those are
only thing I.
exactly the comments that are circulating around athletes and their mental health as well, right? I mean, you have folks like Matthew Wolf coming out and saying like, "Yeah, like I'm not great every day, and that should be okay. And sometimes I need to take a week off and blah 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 blah." Saying everything that he is fully entitled to say as a professional athlete and as a human being, and that's met with comments like, "Boo hoo, you're a professional athlete. He's paid millions of dollars to do what they love. I don't take a day off of my work." Um, but there's that detachment or a lack, a void in correlating those two things.
Yeah, I mean, who was the American gymnast? Is it Simone Biles?
Simone
Yeah.
Biles. Yep.
Like she came out and bloody
She got
hell, all
absolutely
Roasted.
hammered
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
comment sections and news articles and folks. Yeah. Anytime someone who has a little bit of a public platform has a human moment,
Mhm.
it is it's frowned upon.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, all the um, audience are always asking for is more human aspects. You know,
Right.
it's
right,
they want the human side, but then when they sometimes see it, they don't like it, or they don't want it, or they don't want to hear it, or they can't relate to it.
Mhm.
right,
And they can't really have it both ways. You can't want to have more of that person's personality come across. Because if you want that, guess what? You're going to get the good personality sometimes, and you're also going to get the bad side of it. You
Mhm.
right,
can't just have the ups. You're going to have sometimes. You're going to have to look, witness the downs, and that's what makes us human.
Mhm.
right. And when you're in the process of, it, I've recently spoken about this just, because I'm getting to a point where content creation is taking a lot of my bandwidth.
Mhm.
And sometimes I do too much and I need to reset. I need to shut down. I need to pull away a little bit. Um, what does that look like for you? You do have your foot on the gas with content creation. You got doing live events now. You're doing review videos. You've got your kids. You've got a life outside of what you have going on the internet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, and but those things weigh on a person just as a human. What are those days like for you when you need to pull back and you need to distance yourself from your content creation, your audience?
Yeah. I must admit, I've only probably realized I need a bit of me time recently
Hmm.
because, again, I've always been. It's about the process. Like I've got to. It's not about do I want to. Sometimes it's I've got to. I've got to make videos. And to be honest, I am quite lucky. I love making videos. I love making the pod. I love the whole process. Like I love the coming up with the video ideas, chatting to my team about how it's going to look, on before we even go to a shoot. I love shoot days, you know, because I'm the boss, quote unquote. If I want a quick 10-minute break, I'll have a 10-minute break. Like nobody's pushing me to do it. I'm pushing myself to do it. So sometimes, like, I think if I worked for somebody else, let's say I was an actor on a film, and it was like, no, you've got to do it, you got to do it, you got to do it. Like, I think that would really drain me. But because I'm quite flexible in the fact that I can say, let's let me have it 20 minutes. Let me just grab a quick coffee. Let me just get my head right. Let me understand the video that I'm trying to shoot. That probably gives me these little windows of opportunity to have a bit of me time without really realizing. I'm almost self-protecting myself without even knowing it.
Right.
But I must admit, probably this year more than ever, I've started to realize that I probably do need to give myself just that little bit more release time, that little bit more time to get away from also sometimes the family, and I love my family, obviously. Everyone, everyone
Right.
loves their own family. But sometimes, it's nice to have a me day. So I've been doing two things at the moment. One of them's a bit stupid, but I'm enjoying it. So have you ever heard of the 5 a.m. club?
No.
Haven't.
So it's a book, a theory by Robin Sharma, I believe he's called. He's like a life coach, psychologist type guy. And he basically advocates getting up at 5 o'clock. And that's probably what you
Like
guys
we
got up
did this
today,
morning.
right?
Wasn't gonna say.
Now, apparently, the first hour of your day is like, I'm not particularly super religious. I'm not super like soul searcher and things like that. But apparently, it's like your holy hour, and it's where if you start your day correctly, it could really sets you up for a much better day.
Mm.
So for the first hour, you're supposed to do three things. You're supposed to split it up into three 20-minute sections. You're supposed to sweat for 20 minutes. You're supposed to reflect for 20 minutes, and you're supposed to learn for 20 minutes. Now, at the moment, I'm very, very early in this process. I've been doing it about maybe 2.5 weeks. But I tell you what, it's really helping me. Like, nobody's awake. I literally don't pick up my phone.
Mhm.
And I mean, I don't pick it up. I have an alarm clock. I put it out of reach of my bed. And when it goes off, I get up, I get out of bed. It's hard. It's horrible. I hate it. But I get out of bed. Like, I really do hate it. In that first minute, I'm like, why am I doing this? But if I can get over that first minute, it all gets better. So I've been going out for like really early runs, or I've been working out at home in the morning when the kids are asleep, my wife's asleep, my phone's not being bombarded with messages or phone calls. Nobody's awake. And I'm not letting social media get into my brain for the first hour. I'm trying to stay cleaner. So, and then I'll come back home, and I've not got the reflection bit right just yet. But apparently, this bit you're supposed to write affirmations. You're supposed to write, "I am strong. I am this. I am that." I've not got that down yet. Whether I do or don't, I'm not quite sure. But in that 20 minutes, I've just been planning out my day. What does my day look like today? Like, what do I want to get out of today? What are my goals for today? Like, is it work related, family related, fitness related, diet related, or whatever it may be? What are my goals? And then the last 20 minutes, I've started reading again. And honestly, and to some people might go, "What do you mean start reading again?" Because a lot of people do read, and I feel like I read a lot on this.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not.
for
It's
sure.
not. It's not reading, is it? It's noise. So I bought like some books. Even like I bought like a couple of parenting books. So I want to become like a nicer parent, a better parent, or things that are not golf, completely not golf, or motivation books or things like that. And again, listen, I'm not for 1 minute saying that this is a perfect ingredient. I'm not for 1 minute saying I'm going to keep this up forever. But so far, 2.5 weeks in, I've really, really enjoyed it. It's hard, it's horrible. I hate it for like I say, that first minute, but it's giving me that me time that maybe I didn't realize I needed
Yeah.
until I'm giving it to myself and going, I really need that. I really needed that time. I didn't realize I did, but now I'm giving it to myself. I'm like, because now I'll be done for maybe about 6:15, 6:30. I'll go upstairs, have a really nice shower, spend a bit of time, even daft things like spending a bit of time on me, like having a nice like undershave or like, do you know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
like putting beard oil on and
Yes.
moisturizer. It sounds ridiculous, but it's those things that, or making sure I pick a nice outfit for the day, or, you know, it's those things that I'm doing all this before 7 a.m. And
Mm.
that's when my kids start waking up and my wife starts waking up. And already I'm in a much nicer mood.
Mhm.
Mm.
Like I'm ready for the day. I've had a bit of me time. I've not been I've not had social media affect me. Um, and I'm then ready to start the day. I've got a bit of a plan. And like I say, not for 1 minute am I saying this is a perfect scenario, but it's something I've been trying recently that I am really enjoying it, and I really hope it continues. I read it also, this Robin Sharma says to build a habit you've got to do it for 66 days.
66 days. Interesting.
Apparently so.
Okay.
Apparently London University did this study at 66 days to build a habit, good or bad, like
Mm.
66 days.
Mm.
So I'm kind of trying to get to that. So that's about the 20th of December I need to get to.
Okay.
It's hard.
You got
It's
some
We'll be
accountability
pulling for
partners
you.
over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah,
Accountability
like I say,
buddies.
exactly. Yeah, but to go back to your point, what do I do? I don't think I did anything before, Brad.
Mm.
I don't honestly, mate. I don't think I was doing anything for myself, and it's only recently I've started to think, you know, I'm not in the best shape. I want to get in better shape. I want to be healthier. I want to eat better. I want to plan my days better. I want to be nicer to my kids. I want to be a better parent. I want to be nicer to my wife. Not that I'm bad, but I want to wake up happy. I want to, you know, I want to feel better in myself.
Mm.
Um, and it has given me a clearer head, and it's given me that time to reflect. And then the only other thing I tried last week, and again, I really enjoyed this. We had a bit of planning day. So on planning days, either my editors are editing. I've got 3 editors. They're either editing content for Facebook, YouTube, podcasts, whatever it may be. And I've got a senior brand manager who we'll chat with and we'll go through a load of ideas and whatever. And we had a few videos in the pipeline, but I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna have a day on my own. I never do that, and I
Mm.
mean I never do this.
Mm.
And I got up early, did my 5 o'clock work, got up at 5, whatever, took the kids to school, and I just went into Manchester. So my local city, I love, amazing city, I love it. And went in a nice coffee shop and watched the world go by for an hour or so. And I went and got my hair cut and I went and had a nice lunch and had a bit of a wander around and did a bit of
Mm.
shopping and got my laptop out. I took my laptop as well and maybe did a bit of work in peace. And I was like, bloody hell, I really like that.
Oh,
That was a really nice day. And like I say, I know not everyone can do that. And people listening to this video or podcast will go, "Well, I work, buddy, every day of the world," and I get it. And that was still somewhat work for me. I was still working kind of remotely, um, but it is important for people listening, watching, whatever it may be, to try and give yourself that time if you can. I know it's difficult with life and family and commitments and stuff,
mhm.
and it might not suit everyone. Some people might hate spending a full day on their own.
Mhm.
It's working out what you like to do as an individual that gives you that bit of me time. I think golf gives a lot of people that, to be honest, as
For
well.
sure.
Or going to a
Absolutely.
driving range for an hour, or going for a run for an hour, or doing something that it just solely you.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, that's to answer your question. Long story short, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Um, and I think I'm very much as I'm kind of getting closer to 40 than I am 20 now. I'm probably starting to think, yeah, I need a bit of this time.
Yeah.
I feel like I've worked in that kind of hamster wheel for the last 8 years. That I can afford that bit of time to go. Okay, think about yourself a bit more. Make sure that I don't want to be an unfit dad when my kids start. What do you call it? Like sports day here. Like
Mhm.
I still want to be able to be an active dad to my kids and take them to golf and take them running and swimming and cycling, all those things that I love doing. Um, and I think this is going to really help me to do that.
Mm. None of that is too surprising to me, Rick, that you hadn't given yourself that time previously.
I don't think I wanted it. I don't think I thought I needed it
Yeah.
Mhm.
really.
It sounds like your nature is go, right? Like we talked earlier about the fight or flight tendency, and your tendency was to, or your habit was to act and keep
Mhm.
moving. And I identify that a lot in myself as well. And there are often times where I don't understand, I don't realize how tired I am or how drained I am, more than just exhausted, but and you just go down and just knock out. And yeah, so I'm glad to hear that you're giving yourself that time to
Yeah.
take care of your body and your
Well-being.
your
Just
mind and your,
health.
yeah,
Yeah.
your whole your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Um,
like I say, I'm not a particular person who, you know, again in this book it talks about meditation and I'm not at that level yet, but
mhm,
maybe I might move into that. Maybe I
Right.
might quite like that. Because I do know how beneficial it is, but I've never kind of maybe opened my eyes to it or accepted that at the moment. But I mean, like, do you guys meditate?
Yeah. I was gonna
I
say that 20 minutes, the 20 minutes you spend
Reflection.
learning, you're
Yeah.
learning about yourself too. Like
mhm,
Yeah.
you're learning about your own tendencies, and meditation doesn't necessarily have to be one of them. It's great if it is. Like
right,
Yeah.
I'm sure we could reference any number of articles that, show the positive benefits of meditation
Yeah.
mhm,
me- and look like, sitting with your legs crossed on a mat. Or it could look like leaving your cell phone in your car and going and walking 9 holes and
mhm,
Yeah.
just listening to the birds chirp and listening to the dew in the grass on your shorts or your
mhm,
shoes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's I'm really happy to hear, self-care has been a priority for you.
Mm.
As I'm reflecting on my own self-care habits and practices, and as someone who looks up, who watches your moves, and I have to say this now, sorry. um I very believe in getting flowers when and while they're here. Flowers meaning giving you your
mhm,
your props, giving you your just due. um
mhm,
Rick, I don't know that I would be here right now if it were not for your videos. I
Oh wow.
spent a large amount of 2020, the summer, a big chunk of the summer in 2020 in Los Angeles, um, protesting because of the aftermath of what happened with George Floyd.
Yeah.
And YouTube was a safe place for me. And as golf was one of the only, safe activities that we could enjoy, I would maybe get in, hit the streets in the afternoon, you
mhm,
know, bare my soul, yelling, screaming, shouting, marching. And then at night, I'd pop on YouTube and just unplug, and I would watch
Yeah.
your videos. And specifically, the one that sticks out to me the most is your Dear Golf.
mhm,
Yeah.
And I mean, not only was it beautifully shot, but your words touched me.
mhm,
Your talking about your experience as a child, as a golfer,
Yeah.
and now seeing what you've created, the platform that you have, the reach that you have. Like you said, 44% of Americans, are your audience, man. I'm a percentage of that. Like I, I need you to know, you really, really positively affected me and the way that I view golf content creation. And um, I I take a you're part of the mosaic that has made up Bradford Wilson Golf.
Oh, nice. That's great. Oh, thank you. So I really appreciate that, Brad. And good on you for standing up from what you believe in and walking all those miles and protesting correctly, obviously, for for what you believe in. I mean, that's amazing as well. I remember seeing your Dear Golf video. I was like, woo! Who's this? Who's this? Coming into my space, acting all cool, acting all hip. I was like, I better start wearing my hat backwards. I better start, you know,
Oh
spitballing to keep up with this young blood that's coming through. I was like, Christ. I was like, I feel old straight away after watching that.
Man.
But that's good. Like, what again? Going back to the point in I think sometimes I'm so integrated in what I'm doing on a daily basis that I don't have time to kind of fight for what I believe in and fight for what I want to do. I'm kind of almost seeing that to come at another stage in my life. I'm not quite there just yet. But like, you're out there and you're fighting for change and you're fighting for the things that you believe in, and I really admire anyone that does that, because it's like sometimes I'm kind of quite focused on what I'm doing. Sometimes maybe don't kind of try and I'll try and influence positive change and influence things like the mental health campaign that I did and things like that. But to actually be out there on the streets where it's like you really fighting for what you believe in, and correctly so, that takes a lot of guts and a lot of power. So good on you as well, Brad. Like, it's amazing that you do all that. And I was following it on Instagram going, bloody hell, yeah, that's hard work and it's strong and it must have taken a lot out of you. So I understand why you needed that safe place when you got back, because I'm sure, like I say, it would have been a scary time kind of out there on the streets, not knowing what was going to happen.
Right. And I gotta credit you and Peter and Carter and Matt. Like, I truly I eat up all of that content, man. And I'm sure you hear that a
Great.
lot, but just know that, like, just one more time, man. You need to hear it. Like, you're doing great work.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. I'm lucky. I enjoy it, and I think if you can find something that you enjoy doing, I'd like to think then it kind of I don't have to. Well, I'm not acting. I don't have to act
Right.
how I'm enjoying it and how I'm coming across. And I think when it's natural. I've loved golf ever since I started playing golf when I was 11. I've loved it ever since, and I love it till the day I die. And I think being able to get that across on video is something I've always tried to really stick by. My tagline is, I want to make fun and entertaining videos for golfers around the world. And if I can make somebody happy by watching a video, or I can entertain somebody to watch a video, or educate somebody watching a video, I've kind of done my job. And that's kind of what I really try and do all the time. But and I appreciate your positive words.
Yeah. And I would add inspire to that list of adjectives as well, because you like everything that Brad said. We don't need
Well, it's funny. It's funny. The Dear Golf video was shot by the owner of your hat,
Right.
Connor.
Yes, indeed.
That was shot by Eric, and I didn't know how that video was going to come out, because it's not. Again, I'm not massively spiritual. I'm not particularly somebody who would consider myself poetic or thoughtful or whatever it may be. So when he said to me, just literally write down all the things you like about golf, where it's brought you, where it's taken you, this, that, and the other. And I must admit, before I started writing, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to put here. Like, this is so out of my comfort level. It's unreal.
Not to mention a lot of material.
Yeah,
lot to unpack.
Yeah, so like, I'm very much out of my comfort level here. I love being on video, writing and things like that aren't my forte. So anyway, I sat in a quiet room. I went, right, come on, let's do this. And I literally just put like Dear Golf, and I never stopped writing. And I never stopped writing. And literally, I was like, oh my God, like I'd done to at the end of it, I was taking things out. I was deleting like lines, going, oh no, that's not as good as I thought it was. But suddenly, as soon as I wrote like Dear Golf, and I really put myself in that idea that I'm writing a letter to golf. I was like,
Mhm.
shit, this is the ink's just coming out my pen. I'm not even thinking
Mhm.
about this. And then just being able to sit there kind of with Eric at I was at Rawport Rush,
Mhm.
in the grandstands at the Open and things like that. And he just said, just chat, we'll film, we'll put it together. I'm like, okay. And he did. I was like, and he did, and it's very, very different to my normal style of content. Really is.
Mhm.
I'm much more polished and quite. When I say polished, almost not as vulnerable. Let's say.
Mhm.
I kind of guard myself, but because I wasn't editing that video or filming it, I really had to put the trust in Eric and his team, who do a great job anyway. And when it came back, I was like, oh yeah, wow, that's mental. That's like one of the videos I watched back, and I was like, okay, let me watch it again. Let me watch it again. And this is a video of me. Never normally do that. Let me watch it again. I was like, yeah, I really like that. I think that's a really powerful piece of content.
Mhm.
For sure.
All of that.
Do we want to go meat and
Yeah.
potatoes?
Yeah. Just a few more questions. Where do you go outside of the golf course? Where's your happy place outside of golf?
I love spending time with my family.
Mm.
I try and put myself in a position now where I can take my kids to school every day. I don't pick them up every day, but I'm there by tea time. I'm normally
Mhm.
home by 5 o'clock, 5:30. I love doing the homework with them. I love reading books to them. I love putting them to bed. I love giving them a bath. So my kids are, and it's quite cliche. I'm sure most parents would probably say that, certainly while they're young right now. But I really do love spending time with them. And my wife, wants to put the kids down to bed. Something again I've been much more focused on is not using this, not picking
Mhm.
this thing up at night.
Mhm.
It's dangerous device, and I've just been trying to leave it out of, put it in a different room and chat to my wife and have dinner and you know spend time with her. And I don't know what's changed in my mantra over the last kind of few weeks slash months, but it's made me really think, like, don't regret this time. Like, don't look back at this time in 20 years and go, why did I spend time with my kids? Why did I spend more time with my wife? Why didn't I do the things that I could have been doing? Why was I just on frigging Twitter or Instagram? Like, what's the
Yeah.
point?
Yeah.
It's disposable stuff. And even though I live in that world, I live in social media world. That's my job. That's my career. That's what I've built my brand on. As a person, I do think it's important to have times away from it. So,
Yeah.
and then even like I've been trying to pick up some new habits recently. Again, running, but again, I'm playing badminton with a friend of mine tonight, and we've done it a few weeks so far. And listen, I don't really play any other sports bar golf, but picking up a different sport and spending time with a pal of mine, just going playing badminton. I don't know if badminton's big over in the US, but um, just doing something different. So
Yeah.
I must admit, though, again, probably if you asked me this question 6 months ago, I honestly don't think I would have
Hmm.
given the same answer.
Hmm.
I feel like you've really caught me at a good time, and this podcast, this therapy session, um,
That's right.
is probably making me realize that I need to keep up with these habits that I've inbuilt recently because it is important. And um, I love socializing. I'm very social outside of my career, and we'll have friends round, we'll have nice house parties,
Mm.
and we'll have house parties at theirs. And I very rarely say no to anything. I'll say yes to a lot of social events and things like that. But I think they're the things that kind of get me away from the grind. Let's
Mhm.
say,
Sure.
if you can call it the grind, it's not really that hard work. But it's that's kind of what I like doing. I love socializing. I love spending time with my kids, and like I said, I'm trying to get into a few more kind of habits recently that I can continue with.
Yeah.
Great. When you're
I rarely play golf.
It's a we say this all the time. It's a very common misconception that people in this field are on the golf course all the time, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
yeah, I can't
When
imagine
I'm on the
for
golf
you as well.
course, there's a camera filming me on a golf
Right.
course.
Right.
That's the only time. That's the only, and that's only because it just takes so long. Like, imagine if I'm working all week and then on a Saturday I say to my wife, I'm going to play for 5 hours of golf. She'd be like, "You've played all week." Like,
Right.
I don't need to. I've got swimming classes to go to. I've got dance classes to take the kids. You know, so it's like,
Right.
you know, and I don't really want to play golf at the weekend. I get to play in the week enough.
Right. Can you earmark a time when that shift happened, when you stopped playing golf for pleasure and what that felt like?
I've been through a few periods of playing lots of golf and no golf.
Mm.
So 11 to 16, that's when I played my most golf. 11 years old to 16, I played the most golf every day, all day, you know, through the summer holidays, twice a day if I needed to. From 16 to 18, I actually went to golf college.
Mhm.
And that was a good thing, but it was also a negative for my golf because I thought I was going to be playing golf every day. At 16, I was playing golf every day. I went to golf college thinking I'm only going to play more golf every day.
Right.
Wasn't the case. I had
Not
to go to
true.
lectures. I had to go to class.
Mm-hmm.
I discovered going on nights out. I discovered nightclubs and drinking way earlier than I should have done. Certainly well earlier than you guys in the US start to do it anyway. That's legal anyway.
Legally anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So 16 to 18, I kind of played less. And then when I left college at 18, I got my first professional job. I turned professional when I was 19. I played a lot then. I probably played quite a lot from 19 to 21 because, again, I just turned professional and I wanted to make sure in my mind that I definitely wasn't good enough.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's a weird sentence, isn't it? But I wanted to make sure that there was no glimmer of hope I could make it.
Right.
So I gave myself a little bit of a period there to go, right, give it your best shot then. And if your best shot's nowhere near good enough, that's absolutely fine.
Mhm.
Like, we're still working golf. And deep down, I knew I wasn't going to be a tour player. I knew I wasn't good enough. And then probably from the period of 21 till about 26 was the period in my life where I played the least amount of golf. And I mean almost nothing.
Mm.
Because in that period of time, I was building up my coaching business as a self-employed golf coach from 21 to 25 or 26. That's when I absolutely pedal to the floor. I'm coaching. That's all I do. So every minute of every day, I wanted to be I wanted to coach, and I loved coaching kids, new golfers, experienced golfers, whatever it was. But that's when I found, well, if I'm playing golf in that time period, I'm not making any money. What's the point?
Mhm.
Unless I'm out on a playing lesson, there's literally no point. And this is mad. You think about how many golf clubs I have and how many golf clubs I've swapped and all sorts. I reckon I had one set of clubs from that period of 21 to 26.
Mm.
I wasn't even bothered about golf equipment. Like, it wasn't on my radar one bit. And then when I started YouTube, when I started YouTube I was about 26, 27. I did it to help promote myself as a golf coach.
Right.
And naturally, as I started to make more golf videos and start to branch out into different categories of making golf videos, i.e., going out on the golf course and playing golf with my friends, or playing playing different golf courses, or playing nice golf courses, or whatever it may be, I actually started to play golf a lot more. And then I did a series where I tried to qualify for the Open when I was about 29, 30. I played a lot of golf then. Like, that was that was almost like back when I was 14, how much golf I played then. But a lot of it was still documented. It was all on video.
Right.
I was really like practicing hard. My hands were bleeding and that was the real time where I wanted to really try and put an effort in. But it was all a little bit too late. You know, I kind of already realized I wasn't really good enough. And then probably for the last 3 or 4 years, I've just played a nice amount of golf. A nice amount of golf where I very rarely miss playing golf because if I think the last time I played was last week, so I feel like I've already played or whatever it may be. And I could probably see that continue for the foreseeable. As long as I've played golf 3 times a month, that I'm more than happy with that.
Mhm.
You know,
Mm.
because every day I get to hit golf shots in some capacity, or even if I'm not playing golf, I'm filming a video where I'm hitting golf shots. So I'm still getting my fix. I'm still getting what I
Right.
need out of it
Right.
without committing 5 hours out on a golf course.
Yeah. Yeah. A
Um,
journey.
Do you guys play lots?
I'm probably in that 3 to 4 a month right now.
Yeah.
Mm.
When in between shoots,
Yeah.
I think that's
where I
I think
play
that's
like damn near
a nice
none.
spot to be in.
Yeah. For me, it's sporadic. There's sort of fits and starts where it's like 8 times in 2 weeks because of
Right.
shoots or something, and then it's like not at all for a month, or like
Yeah.
once in a month because I've got a PR gig or an event or something like that. So yeah, it comes and goes.
Yeah. I'd love in the future to definitely slot into this place where maybe I'm kind of retired. I would quite like to play golf 3 or 4 times a week, but
Mm,
just like 9 holes with my pals. We
sure.
just rock up at 9:30, 10 o'clock, quick coffee, 9 holes, bit of lunch, back home. Like,
Mhm.
I can definitely see a future in that, and it's not about the score,
No.
it's about how fast I can play.
Mhm. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And it's about the hang.
The
Yeah,
hang. Yeah.
exactly. It's about I always remember this really funny time where, um, I was actually going out on a playing lesson and went to a local golf course near mine, and we were probably getting out quite early, maybe a 9:30 tee off, 9 yeah, um, and there was a 2 ball coming down the 18th hole. I'm thinking, "Wow, those guys have got round pretty fast." So as they were coming off the 18th hole, I said to him, "Oh, how have you played today, guys? Like, just nice casual little chat. How you doing, guys? How have you played today?"
Mhm.
Brilliant. 2 hours 15.
I love that that's the metric. That's amazing.
Right.
What wasn't about
Wasn't about the
score.
score.
Yeah.
Wasn't They went, I said, "How did you play today?" "Great, 2 hours 15."
That's
I'm
amazing.
like, get
There
this though.
Yeah.
When does this podcast kind of video theory go
Mm,
out? Or
2
2 hours?
weeks?
Okay, great. On Thursday, I'm filming a video, which is a really exciting one, with a guy who's got the record for the fastest round of golf ever.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
He did it in
Is
I've been
thirty.
is
so
he from
curious about
Oregon?
this.
No, this is a UK guy.
Oh, okay. Okay. I know
Unless
there's
there's
a I
unless
live
it's
in Portland,
unless it's
Oregon.
competition.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a tight market. There's a
Um,
guy over here as well who competes very
he did
actively.
it. He's done it in 32 minutes around a golf,
Oh my gosh.
and he's
Can
good.
you imagine?
I think he's a golf pro as well, and I think he plays really well.
Right.
I
So
mean, that's 40 seconds a hole.
if what's mad,
Am I?
if you when you actually
Yeah.
break it up into the simplicity of running around a golf,
Mhm.
it's very very doable in that time for someone who's fit and can run.
Sure.
So let's say it's 6,500 yards or whatever it may be. It's around about 6 kilometers roughly, whatever
Mhm.
it may be. Like a fit runner can run 6 kilometers in 20 minutes, probably
Yeah.
even less,
Sure.
couldn't they really? You add into hitting golf shots in between that, obviously racks it up. But I mean, I can't wait to see it. I'm filming that on Thursday with him.
Wow.
And hitting them straight as well.
Right.
I think, like I say, I think he's a decent golfer. He just takes 3 or 4 clubs out with him, a driver, an iron, a wedge, and a putter,
Yeah.
and he just goes for it.
Incredible.
Oh my gosh.
I,
Well, I can't wait to see that. That's
I'm gonna try and keep up with him for a couple of holes.
There you go. Just play battle golf with him, yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
Hold
like
on.
playing 2 holes. Let me play a par three
I'm
with
gonna
you.
need that 10-minute break right now.
Yeah.
Rick, what are some of your favorite golf smells?
The halfway house.
Mm.
Mm,
Um, I mean, it is a bit cliche, but I do like slightly moist morning. Grass has just been cut.
mhm.
Like freshly cut grass is pretty special out on a golf course.
And British grass hits different than the
Do-
US.
right,
It
it is
does.
mega.
It just
It's really
does.
good.
The manure in the UK is top class. It really is.
Well, yeah, that's not the best smell in the world, but yeah. And again, probably a bit cliche, but like, if you play a really nice course on the coast and you can smell the sea,
Mhm.
and you can smell the sand and the beach, and the golf course and the grass, and um I must admit, a lot of these link to really early in the morning.
Hmm.
I don't know if it doesn't. I can't think of smells post that
Hmm.
for some reason. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's probably not a question I've ever been asked, so thank you for that. But yeah, I think freshly cut grass, bit of a sea breeze, um, some nice food smells.
Hmm.
Love that. So those guys that 2 hours, 15 minutes. Sounds like you got a good laugh out of that.
Oh, it's great.
But if you can recall the time on the golf course you have laughed the absolute hardest.
Oh, there's got to be a few. Let me think. You know what I'm actually really good at, and it took me a long time. I really laugh at my bad shots.
Good.
Like,
Love
and
that.
it took me a long time to do that. But now, why I laugh at my own shots now? Certainly, if it's being recorded, I go, "That's going to be a great clip for social media."
Yeah, there you go.
like,
There you go.
I think things like that are great. But let me think. I tell you what, this is a mad one. But again, it's not on video. One time I was in Connecticut and we were playing a golf course that was called Lake of Isles. That
Hmm.
do you know if that's the place?
I don't know.
It had a huge. I'm going to look now. It had a huge. How do you spell Connecticut? C-O-N.
It's Connecticut. So CONNECTUIT.
Thank you. Um, there was a golf course up there that we played at, and it had a huge hotel attached to it, like a massive hotel, like a big casino, and it was amazing. I'm sure it's called Lake of Isles. Anyway,
Hmm.
I was there with a few friends of mine, Peter Finch being one of them, and we'd had a few drinks. Yeah, Lake of Isles, Connecticut. That's what it's called. It's amazing. It's Foxwoods
Foxwoods
Resort
Casino.
Casino. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
right. Mad place. So we'd
Yeah.
probably had a few drinks and whatever, this, that, and the other. So Pete Finch, who friend of mine, and Piers Ward, who's another YouTuber, he's with me in my
Mhm.
golf. And maybe Andy was with us, but I can't remember him being with us. I think there was the three of us. We're out playing golf, super late in the evening. We'd all had a few drinks, a busy day, and there's no one out there. And for some reason, when Pete's in America, he puts on this ridiculously southern American accent, like
I've heard it.
ridiculous, like
Just
stupid
cartoonish.
accent. Yeah, Texas. I'm not even
Yes.
going to do it because I'm
It's
just
very
embarrassing
Texas.
myself. But one night we were all out there and we were just literally riffing, like three English blokes, three professional golfers, all drunk, all pretending to do these mad American accents, all
In
like
Connecticut of all places.
Right,
It's so
right.
just absolute. Like if someone would have filmed that,
Yeah.
none of us would still have a YouTube channel. Like we'd have all been banned off the internet. Because
Oh
I
man.
mean, we were swearing, we were shouting, not what you'd normally see from us, but it was absolutely hilarious, like proper belly laughing and trying to hit a golf shot under those situations was
Oh,
fun. So yeah, I mean, it probably always circulates time with friends.
Yeah.
That it just does, doesn't it? Friends, and if they hit a crap shot or they hit a terrible shot or something happens, or they crash a buggy or the clubs fall over, or it's daft things in it really that
Yeah.
crack you up. But that one definitely sticks in my mind as being one of the times where I was proper like my throat, my stomach was hurting for how much we were laughing.
Mm.
And that was going back probably about 2014, 15 maybe. So a number of years ago now, but it was good, really good fun.
Mm. Last one I'll ask is what would be on your champion's dinner menu? if you had your druthers?
Um, I'd probably keep it fairly traditional. So I'll go fish and chips.
Love it.
And I mean, do you have any chippies out in America? You don't really, do you?
No, not
So
really at all.
can you ever get a nice fish and chips or not really?
You can, but it's not the
Like at a
same.
specialty shop.
Yeah, or like a lot of pubs will do them.
Right.
Especially if you're on the coast, you can get some good fish and chips. But I mean, Massam, UK,
Yeah.
newspaper,
So
everything.
I
Can't
exactly.
beat that.
I'd love to serve Tiger and Dustin Johnson and you know, Jordan Spieth.
Yeah,
Proper chippy, like
yeah, with
loads of
scraps.
salt, loads of vinegar in newspaper, and
Yeah.
like even when you tear it back, the chips stick to the paper and you
Yeah.
like scoop it off. And then
No
I
ketchup.
get ketchup, of course.
Oh,
You have to
yeah?
have
Okay.
ketchup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We have it moist up north. And again, something that I don't think a lot of people even in the UK particularly have, but we have like this curry sauce, and it's oh, that is just
Mm.
like I say, I don't think it'd be to everyone's taste. I don't, but yeah, loads of curry sauce, ketchup, a barm cake. So like I don't know what you call it in America, like a bap, whatever. Like where you get where you get like on a burger, but not a seeded one.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I don't know what I'd have for mains.
Oh, that's just the appetizer.
No, sorry. No, sorry. That was the main.
This could
Sorry,
be
I
as
don't
many
know.
Okay.
courses as you
No,
want.
no.
Like this is
I-
your
I-
meal.
No, I don't. I'm not. I don't know what I'd have for starters. I don't know what I'd have for main for dessert. Like yeah, I don't know. I normally quite like a small starters, like mozzarella strips or
Mm.
pate we'd have like a little buffet with like pate,
Mhm.
mozzarella strips, a bit of bruschetta, garlic mushrooms, bit of a mixture for starters.
Okay.
Fingers only. Fingers only. No footwear. You got to get in. And then probably for dessert, I'd go like I don't know if I've got a favorite. The only favorite dessert I've probably got is creme brulee, but it's quite small again. So like a really big. Oh, I'll tell you what. No, a custard tart. I think they're called.
Mm.
Like a vanilla custard tart.
Mm.
But yeah, bit random.
Yes.
Fingers only again.
No hands.
No.
You got to go in with the face.
You go face first.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a fun night. Lots of red wine. Lots
I
of
was gonna ask.
shots of sambuca, red wine, Jack Daniels.
Oh, I think we know how you got to that Texas American accent in Connecticut.
Right.
Yeah, lots of Jack Daniels,
red wine, and
and
sambuca.
sambuca.
Yeah.
So,
What a
sambuca's
cocktail.
my drink.
Rick, what's your Achilles heel? Your mortal wound? As Connor likes to say, that nut you can't crack. The thing you're chasing in your life.
It's a great question. Is it bad that I don't know if I've got an answer to that? I everything that I'd want to try and crack or retrieve, I know I could get there if I just worked hard at it.
Hmm.
So for example, if I just take golf as a one thing, I would love to be better at the short game. I would love to have a better short game. But to get a better short game, you got to work hard at it. I don't think I desire it enough to work hard for it, or I've not got time to work hard for it currently. So for me, there's quite a lot of things like that. Like I quite like to do that, but all I know to get there, I've got to work hard to get to that. And at the moment in time in my life, I've not got enough hours in the day, whatever, to dedicate to that at the moment. I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't really know. I feel like a lot of the time when I try and put my mind to something, I'll not always maybe achieve it, but I'll get pretty close, or I'll put it in the almost complete folder and come back to it another time. Or yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry, I don't know. Don't quite know the answer to that one.
There's no correct answer.
Yeah.
These are
No,
all up to
it's a bit of
interpretation.
And I'm sure when I get off the phone call, I'm like, why did I say that? But at the moment, there's no one thing at the top of my dream list. There's lots and lots and lots of little things which are all achievable, but I've just got to work hard to achieve them. But there's no one thing that gets me. I don't know if I can ever achieve that. That just doesn't. That's not maybe my mindset. And there's never anything that I've tried to accomplish and failed because I'd have just kept going and kept going and kept going. That's just
Yeah.
kind of my personality.
Yeah. Well, keep that question with you, because it's a good one for us individually. We like to come back to that and think about what motivates us, what's driving us.
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
we'll end here. What are some goals for you for the coming year from a mental health perspective? What are some things that you hope to work on within
Um,
yourself?
genuinely, I really, really want to keep up this 5 o'clock club.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like it's really, really helping me. More than I could ever give credit for or ever um, have known before even trying it. Because it is really giving me that time to accomplish a lot of tasks early in the day.
Mhm.
And when I've accomplished tasks early in the day, I accomplish more tasks throughout the day without question. It's like the old, was it the sergeant that said about making your bed every morning? I'm sure you've seen that speech. Like, I feel like even before most of the world has got up, I've achieved a hell of a lot.
Mm.
And that's really, really helping me in my mindset to go, okay, well, if I've achieved X, Y, and Z already, well, what's stopping me from achieving everything else I want today? And it's just giving me time to, like, say, Brad, I probably will in that kind of second 20-minute spell introduce some level of meditation because I do really think that's going to help me. Like I say, I'm not there just yet. Do you use any apps or anything, or is there anything that you'd recommend?
I'm a huge fan of Headspace.
I've heard of that
Uh,
one.
yeah,
Headspace.
they just have like quick little 5 minute, ten
Mm.
minute guided meditations.
Perfect.
The speaker, his voice is so calming. I
Mm.
think he's like a shaman. Like
I
it's
actually
really good.
start today. I've never meditated before in my life.
No, wait. Well, let's
Oh, I'm
let's
so
you and me,
excited for
Connor.
you.
Let's start today.
Let's go. We'll keep up.
What's it called? Headspace.
Headspace.
Headspace. It's got like a
Yeah.
funky little cartoon face as
Yeah.
the
I've been marking November 1st on my calendar for months as my meditation practice start date. And so
Oh,
today I begin.
that's it.
Yep, that's it.
okay. I'm getting it now. There's one below it as well called Calm.
Hmm.
Calm is silent.
They're the big two.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I think that with a little bit of understanding now in my maturity, let's say, or where I am with my life now, I'm starting to understand that there are things I need to do to better improve myself.
Mm.
Um, and I'm accountable for that and I'm responsible for that and I can take action about that. So I think all of those things and just not let the noise of the world be in my head 24 hours because it
Mhm.
just can't be, can it? It's not healthy for any of us.
Yeah.
Um, it's not, it's social media can be a horrible place, and you need to have time where you're away from it and you spend time with loved ones and you spend time with reality. What's his name? The guy from and well, been in loads of films. I think he was in Superbad and he was in Wolf of Wall Street. Not
Jonah
Leonardo.
Hill.
Yeah, did you see what he came out with recently?
Yeah.
Yes.
Phenomenal. I've
Yeah.
so much believed in that. And he
Yeah.
talked about how social media should shut down at a certain time. And again, it's weird I'm saying this because I live in this world and it would massively affect my business.
Right.
But if I look at it from a bigger picture, I totally agree with it.
Mm.
I really, really honestly think if social media shut down at, let's say, 6 p.m. every night,
Mhm.
how much more would you do with people? Honestly,
Right.
Yeah.
I would ring up my friend and go, hey, let's go for a walk. Let's go play badminton. Let's go to the driving range. Let's go to the pub. Let's go and do something. Or, I'd it sounds awful, but I'd speak to my wife just that little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
If she's not on it, I'm not on it. That's
Right.
saving us probably both 30 minutes a night.
Mhm.
Well, that's an hour we could have talked a bit more. It's an hour we could have done something at the house, or cooked, or I could learn how to cook, or I could, you know, and so I must admit, at the moment, that statement that he came out with was phenomenal, and I really do, you know, I'm starting to understand the benefits of social media, obviously, but also seeing the other side of it now and going, I do believe there needs to be a shift in mentality in the world. And, I'm seeing my kids like already, like, obviously, sometimes we give them a tablet, and sometimes they're on YouTube Kids. And I'm like, we need to limit this. We need to limit how much they're on it. We weren't programmed for this. Even recently, I've deleted like Twitter off my phone. I've deleted TikTok off my phone. I'm starting to monitor how much I'm using my phone. I've never done that before. I've never ever had, the setting where you can actually see how long you're on the phone for.
Right.
I've never had that on before, ever. And now I am. And now I'm like more conscious about it. And I'm like, well, how long did I spend on that app today? Oh my God, an hour. What am I doing on an hour on Instagram? Like, what am I doing? So I'm starting to look at it and go, okay, I know it's work, but how much of it is actually work and how much of it just mind numbing
Right.
scrolling?
Sure.
Like, all I'm working out is my thumb. What's the point?
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? So to answer your question, I think I'm at a real turning point in my own life where I'm starting to go, no, this needs to change. And I want to set good examples to my kids. I want to set good examples for people around me. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm on my phone, typically the person who I'm with is on my phone. Well, let's not even have it on the table. Let's have it in my pocket when I go out for a meal, or, because if I'm doing it, they're going to also not be on the phone. It's like, so yeah, it's, I feel like I'm at a stage at the moment where I'm excited about my next few months as a person to kind of try and work out myself a little bit more.
That's beautiful. I'm glad we caught you at such a pivotal, fun,
And
energetic moment.
I'll remember this as a point to say, well, not only one, because I had a great chat and really enjoyed speaking to you both, but one, another thing to go, okay, that's a nice little rev up. I've been 2.5 weeks in. This has helped me. Let's get me through all the way through November. Getting up at 5 o'clock, reflecting on myself, bit of meditation. I've just downloaded those 2 apps, Brad.
Yes. Good. I love it.
So I'm
December
sat
20.
there
That's day
meditating.
66, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
December 20th. We're
When
pulling
I'm
for
sat
you.
there meditating, I'll be thinking, Brad told me to do this.
I love it.
Or should I say, Brad recommended me to download this app. Well, thank you, gentlemen. I've really enjoyed that.
Thank you, Rick. This was a lot of fun. Cool.
Let's